Alright, so I went and saw that new Star Wars movie a couple of days ago, and I didn't want to comment on it right away. I wanted to take a few days to reflect on it. By the way, there will be spoilers, so if you haven't seen it yet, don't watch this shit until you've seen it, unless you want some spoilers. Um, my best advice, I guess, is if you go into it expecting like the same feeling you had when you went and saw Empire Strikes Back, you're gonna be disappointed. If you go into it thinking that it's gonna be better than The Force Awakens, you're gonna be satisfied. Um, and I don't want to seem like I'm bashing too much on it because it's a good movie. Um, I think Disney's fucking up the whole franchise though. Uh, Force Awakens, it didn't even deserve a review. I thought that was the crappiest, most biggest hunk of junk that Star Wars ever put its name on, with the exception of like the holiday special and Ewok Adventures. Those weren't really movies, and I don't think they're considered canon. But as far as like a major motion picture, The Force Awakens sucked ass. But back to the Last Jedi. Um, they missed so many opportunities. Um, the main one that comes to mind, and which was an expectation which led to a major disappointment, was the scene where Luke Skywalker finally decides that you know he needs to be a Jedi. He needs to get involved, and he needs to do something to stop Kylo Ren. Um, when he shows up there, we had that anticipation of that Vader moment from Rogue One. Like, yes, we're gonna see Luke Skywalker as a Jedi Master, full power, just wreaking havoc. And what we got was a polished turd. Um, the fight scene was lackluster at best. They opened fire on him with a bunch of cannons from AT-ATs, and he just brushes it off. That right there tells you, what the fuck is this? And then he gets into his lightsaber duel with Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren, slices him right down the middle after Luke Skywalker makes his, "If you strike me down out of anger, I'll be with you forever, just like your father." Kind of mimicking that Obi-Wan moment with him on the first Death Star in A New Hope, which back in my day we just called Star Wars because there was no other Star Wars movies. Um, Anyways, it turns out that Luke was astral projecting himself across the galaxy or some shit, and he wasn't even really there. And then right after the fight with Kylo Ren, he becomes one with the Force. I mean, what the fuck kind of way for the Skywalker saga to end? What were they thinking? He, just like with Han Solo when he died in The Force Awakens, he should have went out in a blaze of glory. It should have been self-sacrifice for the greater good to save somebody else or lots of somebody else's. Instead, we got this fucking crap that J.J. Abrams, and I don't even know or care who this fucking director was that did this polished turd. Um, you know, same thing with that fucking Finn guy. One of the worst characters since Jar Jar Binks. He had an opportunity for a very noble death, and I thought we were gonna get it, and then all of a sudden another lame ass character comes in and saves him, and it looks like she's gonna die instead. But no, they get the happy ending and fall in love, and just Disney's fucking up this whole franchise. Um, Once again, it's just, missed opportunities to make the story go better. Uh, and the whole thing with Luke was gonna kill Kylo Ren in his sleep while he during his training because he sensed that he may turn to the dark side. This is the same Luke Skywalker that, despite Yoda and Obi-Wan telling him that Vader was a lost cause, and that he's completely turned to the dark side and he's evil and there's no hope for him. This is the same Luke Skywalker that believed that there was still light in him and that he could be saved somehow, and he was willing to sacrifice his life to try and turn him back to the light. And we get this, oh, there's a possibility that he might be just as bad as Darth Vader, so I'm just going to kill him in the sleep. Come on, who are you guys trying to kid? We know we were raised on Star Wars and Jedi's. That's not what fucking Jedi's do. Are you out of your fucking mind? Uh, 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 another missed opportunity, which is just like plainly obvious. Okay, everybody knows by now. Carrie Fisher unfortunately passed away. She cannot do any more movies. She can't be in episode 9. It's impossible. They need to find a way to write her out of the script. And at the beginning of the movie, when the bridge gets blown up and she gets sucked out into space, you're thinking, oh man, what a way for Carrie Fisher to go out. Man, damn, that's tragic, but she'll live on in our memories forever. This is such a sad thing. But no, what do we get? Dun, 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 fucking Super Leia, fucking floating out in space while unconscious uses the Force and pulls herself back into the fucking ship. That was a perfect opportunity to send her off. I mean, I understand that they had other parts for her in the movie that needed to go through, but that was a perfect opportunity for them to send her off. They could have wrote that in someplace else, when one of the other ships is getting blown up or something, and the whole, Finn and Rose go off to find this code breaker. That would have been a perfect opportunity to put Lando back in. A lot of us were going, Lando's going to be in episode 8, or yeah, episode 8. I was hoping that Billy D. Williams would reprise his role as Lando Calrissian, and he was going to be this code breaker. Instead, we get Benicio del Toro, or however you pronounce his name, who, played the part well, but it should have been Lando. Even if they would have had like the original Codebreaker that they were going to get, if he could have just had a cameo, and it turned out that that was the guy they were supposed to get, but since they got arrested, they had to deal with Benicio del Toro's character instead. That was a perfect opportunity. Um, and a lot of the lip service, with the blue milk. Oh God, that scene disgusted me. Luke going out and literally, like, you see 4 breasts on this like lizard dinosaur creature thing, and it's laying all belly up, like in a totally unnatural position for an animal. Just like, come milk me, here's my boobies. And he goes up and, gets some blue milk out of it and drink it. That was just total fucking lip service, and that scene it shouldn't even have been there. I mean, if you're making a fucking movie for kids, Disney of all, I mean, I got nothing against boobies, but this was just freaking bizarre, let me tell you. Um, the fight scenes that we did get, um, it was just all substance and no, all flair, all flash and no substance. Looked beautiful, but none of it made any sense. You know, Snoke turns out to be a major pussy who doesn't even fucking get into a battle, gets fucking cut in half by Kylo Ren with a lightsaber that he isn't even holding. He like uses the Force and turns the lightsaber and then activates it. And it's like, come on, you don't think that that this guy got to become the supreme leader for by some reason, and he's taken out that easily. It's just ridiculous. And then he, like, Kylo Ren has this sudden epiphany where he's going to go back to the light, and then all of a sudden, no, decides, oh, I'm going to go ahead and just take over as the supreme leader now. It made no freaking sense at all, and then him and Ray get into this minor battle, and they break the lightsaber, and that was supposed to be like some kind of epic moment or something. And the way they went about it, it was just, it was pretty retarded. Um, if for the person, like I said, I'm gonna try not to bag on the movie too much. For the person who never grew up on Star Wars, for this next generation that is just getting introduced to Star Wars, and their first introduction to it was The Force Awakens. If they're watching that one first and never seen another Star Wars movie, and then watch this one, they're really gonna enjoy it. However, if you're like me and many others who grew up and remember that feeling of going to see Star Wars, not Star Wars A New Hope, Star Wars, the original Star Wars in the theaters back in, I think it was 1977 or something like that. Um, I remember when I went in there, I had never even heard of this movie. You know, my mom wanted to see it because she was a big Alec Guinness fan, and she thought that it was going to be a good movie because he was in it, and none of us knew what to expect. And when they got to that scene with the frickin' Jawas, when they were stalking R2D2, oh, I was scared shitless as a child. That was one of the most traumatic things for me as a child. Not so much that it like caused me PTSD or anything, but I remember crying in the movie theater, and we almost left because my mom was worried that it might be too much for me. And shortly I refused because she was like, maybe we should go, and I was like, no, 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 because I liked the movie. And then the moment that first lightsaber come on, I was like, that was it for me. I was hooked on Star Wars ever since then. And going into these new movies with this new generation of Star Wars, I don't have those same feelings. Something is getting lost in the translation here. And I think a lot of it has to do with Disney wanting to make money. I mean, I understand it's a business, but they're more concerned about the amount of money they can make and the things they can do to make money, and less concerned about turning out a good product, which is exactly what happened here. Because I remember after watching the movie, I even said to my son and my friend who we went to watch this with, I was like, maybe we can still get a refund. I was kind of half joking because I mean I think I got my $15 worth, but I don't think I'd go see it again. I would not go see it again for a second time in the theater. Might be better off to wait until it comes out on Blu-ray or DVD or something, because I don't really think that it's worth it. Plus, not stepping aside from Star Wars itself, but I mean, freaking movie theaters, $15 for a ticket, for one ticket, for an adult ticket, kind of steep, but most people can come up with $15 to go see a movie. But oh no, you're not done there. $6 for a bag of popcorn, another $6 for a soda. I bought a soda and a medium bag of popcorn, and it was like $12.50. And I'm like, about $30 to see this movie already. And if you're a husband and wife and you've got a few kids, movie night is gonna run you $100 easily, because gotta hire a babysitter, pay for both your tickets, probably gonna get a meal beforehand, may even have to pay for parking. By the time you're done with all those expenses, $100 to go frickin' see a movie? It's ridiculous. Um, anyways, my final notes on it is I don't have very high expectations for episode 9. I thought they did a really good job on Rogue One. Excuse me for just a moment. I think they did a really good job on Rogue One as far as storytelling. It doesn't really tie into anything other than A New Hope, the Star Wars. And it was kind of a story that I had been wanting to hear for a long time. I thought they did it very well. Of course, there's some things that could have been done differently. I do love the fact that they martyred every single one of the characters. All of the main characters die, um, and that ending. To this day, I claim that that was the best Star Wars ending in cinematic history, and that's the kind of stuff that I expect when I go to see a Star Wars movie. When I go see a Star Wars movie, I expect to come out of there awe and dumbstruck because of what I just saw. And when I walked out of the last two Star Wars movies, being The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, I didn't feel nothing but dumb and used. Anyways, that's my review. Hope it wasn't too brutal, and I hope you enjoyed it.